Hi, my name is Lauren. I gave birth to my daughter, Blair Samantha-Jo, on July 26th, 2025. And on September 15th, 2025, she tragically passed away. I don't know why I really feel compelled to make this video. I don't know if it really helps me talking about it in the long run, but I do think talking about my experience just with my daughter and I guess everything that happened, I feel like it can help others, only because when she died early on, I was really looking for a lot of, I guess, content for other people to kind of like relate to, and I guess I felt like I really struggled with that because this was, I guess to me, it just seemed like a special case. I just really could not find, I found, similar stories, people experiencing an infant death, but I guess none quite like mine. So I don't know, I guess I just wanted to make this hoping that it can help someone else not feel so alone. Just a bit of warning, I am gonna be going in detail. I'll try not to cry, I guess. No promises, but I am going to be talking about infant death, dead babies. So if you want to keep watching and I guess listen to my story and Blair's story, then please continue. And if you don't, that's perfectly okay. So basically, my daughter was born July 26th. She was perfectly healthy. She passed the APGAR score, whatever that's called. She passed all of her newborn tests. I had a very healthy pregnancy. Her heartbeat was always looking healthy. According to, my chart and stuff, nothing was wrong with me. And everything looked good. She was born and everything looked good, had a healthy heart rate. Oxygen levels were good, didn't need to be in the NICU. The birth itself was long, and it was really hard. But for the most part, the doctor said it was just more so hard for me than it was for her. But, I could argue that it was probably pretty hard for her if it was hard for me, but I digress. And she was good to go. So we went home with her the day after, it was probably a little over 24 hours after the birth and everything. It's probably almost like a day and a half probably. And we were good to go home. She was a pretty good baby. She was breastfeeding, she was latching good. She was eating timely. She was gaining healthy weight at all the appointments she was able to go to. She did have a infantile hemangioma on the back of her head, and the doctor said that, that's normal. It was going to go away over time, and it wasn't hurting her. She did not react at all to it or anything like that, so that was fine. But that was really the only health-related thing that stood out to me. So September 13th, she just turned 7 weeks old, and we went to the apple orchard. After we get home from the apple orchard, she was pretty fussy, but she was also kind of gassy, so I would give her gas drops and everything, and for the most part, that would make things a little better. But I do remember her being pretty fussy that Saturday evening. And Sunday, on the 14th, she was pretty fussy most of the day, but again, kind of thought it was just gas. She was eating. So I was like a little concerned. And obviously that's a regret of mine looking back on now. But she went to bed fine. I remember the last few days, she actually slept for 4-hour periods of time, whereas before it was only like 2 to 3. So I was feeling actually like pretty good, happy-go-lucky because I was getting sleep. And then 2:17 in the morning on Monday the 15th, she woke up crying, and it was like a yelling crying. It was not a cry I was used to. So I jolted up, thinking she was just hungry, time to eat, or she soiled her diaper or something. So I take her into the nursery to change her diaper really quick, because that's normally just what I would do before feedings. I would change her diaper, get that out of the way, and then feed her so it can just like soothe her back to sleep. And I noticed her legs were a little clammy. So at that moment, I was like, I'll use a different swaddle. I started breastfeeding her, and she did start to latch. She cried then while I was breastfeeding, and then she coughed. So I was like, oh no, she's probably choking on milk or something. So I went to burp her. Then her owlet started going off. Said it was, the sock misplacement. That was the alert. I guess, and I don't know why, but I was like, I'll just fix her sock real quick. In the midst of me doing that, she went limp. And I remember just like, Blair, hey girl. She was not responding. In fact, she kind of went, and that was the last thing I heard from her. I turned the lights on. She just was lifeless. I tell my husband something's wrong. I call 911, and the 911 operator told us to start administering CPR. So my husband gave our daughter CPR while I'm on the phone with the 911 operator. Honestly, I don't remember a whole lot of it. I think they asked me like her name, how old she was, stuff like that. And within 8 minutes, the ambulance and EMS team arrived. So at that point, they all rush into, my husband lets them in and lets our dogs out so they don't get in the way. I'm with her. They rush upstairs, and then I'm kind of cornered in her nursery. Her nursery is very small. It is very small. And I'd say it's about, I think it was 5 or 6 men, including me, in that room. I'm kind of pushed back, and I'm watching them attempt to revive her. Eventually, one of them asks if I want to be with my husband, who's just right down the hall. You can see everything in like the doors open. So I said yes. And also I kind of just wanted to let the professionals have their space to do what they had to do. So I go out in the hallway with my husband, and I don't know, I'm kind of just like, I just remember saying, please, 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 like a lot to him. And I just like said like, oh my God. Like those are just the 2 things I remember repeating, were just please and oh my God. Yeah, after about 45 minutes, they got a heartbeat, and they were gonna transport her to the hospital. They did not let us sit in the ambulance with them, which we live very close to the hospital, thankfully, so I really wanted to be with her, but like I said, it was a lot of men, and I didn't want to get in the way, so we just followed closely behind them when we got to the hospital. They let us know that she was not out of the woods. She was not out of the woods yet when we left our house. So obviously I have like a shred of hope still, because I'm in shock. Most people don't go through this. So I don't know. I guess I was just hopeful. So we get to the hospital. The ambulance tells my husband to park the car while I go in with them, and we go in the trauma ER, and there's a social worker there, kind of to just explain everything that was happening to me, because I don't understand medical things. And they asked if I wanted to wait in the waiting room or stay with her, and of course I said I'm not leaving. So I mean, I did have to, it's hard. I did have to like watch the whole team try to revive her. And all I could, it's like a whole wave of people. And all I could just see were like, was her little arm. But again, I was just hopeful. And then my husband, the hospital took forever to like let my husband come in. Like the check-in just took a really long time. So I didn't see him. It honestly felt like forever. It was probably like 10 or 15 minutes that it was just me and the social worker and the care team. Once my husband comes up, they start doing pulse checks. I don't really know how many they did. They did a lot. It was every couple minutes. I really don't know. But every time they did a pulse check, no pulse. And again, like the whole time, I'm just saying like please come back. Like I'll never complain about hearing you cry ever again. I'll never I'll never take like anything, any moment for granted. Like just begging and pleading and just saying like we still have to go to the pumpkin patch. I still have like all these cute outfits for you to wear. Like we were just at the apple orchard 2 days ago. I have a very cute video of her just from the night before, just very much in shock. I remember seeing like the numbers and vitals, not really knowing what they meant, and I asked the social worker like if she could tell me and explain to me what they meant, and she said like, she just pretty much was like, I would not worry about the numbers, things are not looking good right now. And then she did eventually tell me what they meant, but I mean, I don't really remember. I just remember seeing one of the numbers was higher, so I guess I was just hoping that was her heartbeat. Almost 40 minutes go by of them attempting to bring her back, and the ER doctor tells me, you know, at this point she's lost, no oxygen has been going to her brain. I'm concerned that even if she makes it, she's gonna be brain dead. She's not gonna be alive. Like she's gonna be not a healthy baby. Life is going to be terrible for her. Obviously, hearing that, you know, I don't know. It's like I almost felt like weightless, but I weighed so much at the same time. Like I literally, it's just like this isn't real. So eventually, I looked. 4:50 was when in the morning is when they did the last pulse check. And she was declared dead at 4:52. So the team like let me lay in the bed with her, and I got to hold her. It's definitely not a feeling that I ever think any parent should have to go through. And meanwhile, all this is happening and we truly have no clue how it happened, because initially, you know, you always think SIDS, but she was awake. I was feeding her. I was in the middle of feeding her. So that to me was just like, SIDS was not necessarily in the question. I think it is possible for SIDS to happen when a baby is awake, but that just, it was not. And I truly, like, it's just, how is it everything is perfect and it just changed in like a flash. She was very cold, like, and it's very weird how quickly her skin just turned gray. Like at that, I remember saying that a lot, like, she's so gray, she's so cold. They had this tube in her mouth. They didn't take it off. They probably asked, if they could take it off. I really don't remember. I like didn't want too many people in there. And I just remember yelling like, our baby, my baby, my baby. And I remember yelling for my mom. Like I said, mommy for the first time in like years. I just wanted my mom really bad. And you know what's annoying is there's no cell service in there. So my husband, bless his soul, because he did not let me leave her side. But he had to leave the room to like go out far into the hallway to get service to call our parents. I don't remember when they showed up, but it probably like maybe a half hour, 45 minutes when they finally arrived. They told me that the coroner and the sheriff were gonna come and ask me some questions. It kind of, it was really hard because they were like, don't rush, take your time. But I also had to work on the coroner's and sheriff's time, which I understand that they have a job to do. But I honestly did feel kind of rushed. Because even when the coroner was done asking me all the questions, and then they had to take her to the coroner's office. They didn't really get much time after that. So, and then we come home. It's like about 7 in the morning now. And there's like a cop at my house, which like it didn't click in my head at the time that this was like an investigation. They were very nice. They were friendly. I think overall I think they understood, and I think they just felt really bad for my husband and I and just our daughter. But the coroner, I had to show the coroner like our house, our bedroom, like the bassinet she slept in, and then had to show her the nursery. And then they gave me a baby doll because I had to reenact the events that transpired. But that was kind of tough. And then I think my mom said when they left, the cop said like, yeah, we're done here. They told us that CPS might come to our house. They never did. I was anticipating it. Honestly, to this day, I'm still anticipating it. I don't know if it's just because the case was closed at that point, or it could just be because I also just didn't have any other kids as well. Blair was my first child. And so it took about 5 weeks, but we did get the coroner results. I could tell, I think like some people at the office were starting to get annoyed with me because originally the coroner told me to give him 2 weeks. So I called him 2 weeks, and then I called him every week after that until I had something. But so basically, long story short, this shocking, devastating thing happened because my daughter had what's called an aortopulmonary window, also known as an AP window. Basically, in very early fetal development, when the heart develops, there are these two valves, your aorta and your pulmonary artery. There's supposed to be a wall. Basically, the blood was flowing to where it could not, and it caused a cardiac dysrhythmia. So just her heart very suddenly just was not good. In simple terms, I feel like she just had a heart attack. So I was glad to finally have the results, but I don't really know if it solved anything, but I guess I'm at least glad to know what happened to her rather than keep wondering what the hell I did wrong. To this day, it's been a little over 3 months now since this happened, and the guilt does not go away. I'm constantly thinking of what I did wrong or what I could have done. I keep feeling like I'm not fit. I've wanted to be a mother my whole life, and now I keep feeling like I'm not fit for that role, or I don't know. It brings me comfort. Like, I truly loved my baby, and I gave her all the love I could give in her short period of time here. But yeah, some days are really, really hard. I talk to her a lot, and I just hope I don't really know. I'm not a super religious person. I do believe in a God. And now I honestly have no choice to believe that heaven exists, because the way I see it is that's the only place that could be better in my arms for her. So for her sake, heaven has to exist, because there's no better place she could be than here. And she didn't do anything wrong. She's a baby. Something that really not bothered, I guess, once we found out the results, I was really hoping I'd have more support from just like the pediatrician or my OB, but realistically, there's nothing they could do or provide for me other than give me a little bit more information about the defect. They said it is a very, very rare defect. They told me it is not genetic, that it unfortunately just happened because of the luck of the draw, and unfortunately we got the short end of the stick. Well, Blair got the short end of the stick. We're getting by, and we are very fortunate and lucky to have the family that we have and the friends that we have, and the coworkers that I have. Like, I have felt very supported given the circumstances. I mean, Blair in her life and her death brought my family so much closer together, and I am very grateful for them. And I think something that I was really looking for when I was really in the weeds of this was, what did moms do when they had something like this happen? Did they have more children? Because it's almost like when she left, like, I had all this love to give in a whole cup, and I had nothing to pour it into. It was just, I was supposed to nurture this child and raise this child, and that was the mode my brain was in. So if it makes other grieving moms feel better, I do still want children very badly. That's a whole nother level of guilt too, because is it too soon? Is it not too soon? Is it right? My husband and I both talked it out, and we both agree that, we always wanted to give her siblings and everything. But yeah, Blair was just the freaking cutest baby. She had a full head of hair. That's what everyone loved talking about her hair, because she had a lot of hair. And she was just smart. I feel like for a 7-week-old, she was learning very quickly. She was cooing, and she was smiling. She hadn't laughed yet. That was like a big thing. I was like, we never got to hear her laugh. Even though it sucked, like, losing her was the worst thing we ever went through, I'm very, very grateful that I did get to have the time that I did have with her, because she changed. I am forever changed. Honestly, there was me before Blair was born, me after Blair was born, and then me after Blair died. I went through like 3 different life shifts and character changes in a span of like 4 months. And now this is who I am now. I try to stay positive. I try to live each day in her memory, because I don't want to go backwards. I want to live each day hoping that she's proud of me. I just want to be the mom that I wanted to be for her. So I try each day to do that. Some days are hard. Some days I listen to the bad thoughts. I listen to the guilty words in my head. But you can't focus on that for too long. And if you're a grieving parent right now, my heart goes out to you. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. This is a very small circle, and it sucks that we're all in this circle. But I hope it's at least a little comforting knowing that you're not alone. Because that's how I felt for a very long time. We go to group therapy, and that has been tremendous. I highly recommend finding group therapy, whether it be online or in person. We go in person, but that honestly for us has been a huge amount of help. It's just people who are going through similar circumstances. You can rant to them. It's just very open. First session is going to be a little heavy, because it's everyone just introducing why they're there. But eventually, the group gets to know each other, and we all support each other, and we just understand what everyone's going through to a certain extent. Everyone's different, but I guess that was really just why I wanted to make this video. I want people to not feel like how I felt when this first happened, and I just felt very alone and isolated. And I think it just helps me talking about it. Maybe it helps me feel less alone too, obviously. I talk about my daughter every day. I think about her every day. There's not a day where I wake up and I think about her, and I go to bed and I think about her. Yeah, I love her very dearly, and I'm always going to love her, and I'm always going to think about her. You know, sometimes I feel like having other kids can be hard because I'm going to constantly see her in them, or obviously if I have other kids and everything, I pray and hope everything goes well. You know, they start to age, and I'll just be thinking like, you know, she should have been the older sister. She should have been the one everyone was looking up to. But now I just hope she's like their guardian angel. She's like my guardian angel, so yeah, I miss her a lot, but she was the best thing that ever happened to me, and I'm very grateful for it. So thank you very much for watching this video, and learning a little bit about my girl. Maybe I'll share some more stories about her, but I really just wanted to make this video and, I don't know, see if I can help others and help myself in the process too.